Welcome to the Wednesday Call Live! We're here in beautiful Burlington, North Carolina in front of a live studio audience. Now, let's hear it for your host, our President and CEO, Andy Albright!
Yeah! Y'all are fired up. All right, y'all grab a seat. I got a lot of stuff I want to hit you with. I'm so happy to be back in America. Had an incredible trip. I'm going to share a few pictures with you. I'm not going to bore you, but 15 days over in Africa and South Africa and Zimbabwe, and meeting a lot of new people and hearing a lot of new things and seeing stuff I've never seen before in my life and learning stuff. Just, I love stuff like that. But I'm always thrilled to get back to home and see all the dogs. Dogs miss me. Jane act like she missed me. Good to be home.
We missed you.
Good to be home. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the birthday wishes yesterday. Y'all blew my mind and messed up my cell phone. And had to go through the middle of the night last night, checking all off on the band. Thank you. I appreciate that. That was not, it doesn't go unnoticed. 55 years old, baby. Woo! All right. We need to create more multi-millionaires in America, and the Alliance is set to do that. There's some things we need to do to get there, though, to get more people there. And I'm going to cover a lot of them today, and I really hope I get to some of you. I want to cover a couple of dates first. We've got the Alliance certification training. We've got 3 coming up. We've got one in Houston, April 24, 25. Actually, it starts 24th that night, and then 25th, 26th, 27th. We've heard incredible results of the people that attended those. I think we are taking more applications. I'm not sure which cities have filled up. Jacksonville, Florida is June 6th through 8th, and then another one in Burlington, June 12th through 14th. So the people that went to these say we've saved them hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're crazy excited about the things they've learned, and the numbers they're turning in, it looks like it's big time worth 3 days of focused training. I am going out Monday on a 4-day tour. I head to San Antonio first on Monday, so Monday night we'll do the opportunity meeting, then we'll do training, and then that morning it looks like I've got Jim Mosley from National Life Group and Gina Hawks and Chris Norris talking about BAM. So all 3 of those. So we're talking about big premium training the next morning, okay? So that'll be Tuesday morning. I will have a smaller group, and I'll do some leadership training and some recruiting training all Tuesday morning. And then Tuesday night we head to Duluth, Georgia. Okay, then it'll be the same scenario. Opportunity meeting at night, training afterwards. Next morning, Jim Mosley, Gina Hawks, Chris Norris, and we'll do the big premium, IULs, annuity training. So everybody's invited to all of those meetings, okay? And then we're in Lakeland, Florida again, and then Fort Lauderdale. Fort Lauderdale, we're having some smoking results down there. I can't wait to meet those guys and to get those young people to meet our leaders. So those are coming up. And then a crazy dates I'm looking at is May 20, 21, 22, and 23, another all-week deal. I'm headed to Vegas, Las Vegas on Monday, then Seattle, then Salt Lake City, then Los Angeles. So kind of a West Coast swing, same thing, hot spots, training the next morning, and I'm excited about that. So, all right, big stuff right there. Hey, Alaska cruise, well, okay, wait, let's see, 2 weeks. See, 2 weeks I'm headed, I think I've got to go to Croatia, and then Hungary, and then I meet a lot of you guys in Paris, France, right? Who's going to Paris? All right, that's awesome. I'm telling you, y'all gonna have a blast.
That's right.
Yeah, and you can get kind of a crazy time with the fire over there in France. So you'll get to witness a part of history right there and see what's going on there. Jane, I think it burned down just to annoy you. People are funny too. Over 20 years ago, I would say around 26 or 27 years ago, I won my first all-expense paid trip, and it was to this little community called Ada, Michigan, and we went to the Grand Hotel, all expense paid, and Jane was so excited, and I was so fired up because I'm a cheapskate, right? I didn't want to spend that money, so we went on a free trip. The only other time I'd ever do a free trip is we did you had to have a timeshare sales pitch. That wasn't the bad part. This was a free trip to Las Vegas. The bad part is you had to take 4 different plane rides to get there, and going back, one of them was a 10-hour layover, and Jane was like, I don't care how free it is. We ain't doing this again. So when I won that over 25 years ago to Ada, I have not missed the free trips. It's funny, I always think it's funny when people go like, well, I don't even feel like I'm getting anywhere. I'm going like, as long as I'm going somewhere, I feel like I'm getting somewhere. You know what I mean? In other words, it's kind of like the African thing. I log memories more than I'm more interested in memories and times than I am keeping up money. And for some of y'all are probably like I was, the first trips we went on, I didn't have no money. I just won a free trip. And I was like, these guys are tricky. They're going to get me to keep on because I'm winning free trips. And I just kept doing it, and I just basically kept winning trips faster and faster and faster till it was just like the first week or first month in the contest, I'd win a year-long trip. Like, y'all got 12 months to win, but eventually you'll win them in 2 weeks. So, matter of fact, we're looking at the people that have already won. Swindell. Sarge has already won a trip, and today we hired Mike and Michelle Alleman. So it is crazy how quick you start to win these. We've got so many people right on the verge. I thought you'd like to know that Shannon is pushing Mark Hutchinson. They are right on the edge of winning. Mike Shields is right there. And listen to this. So far, he's got 25,000 bonus points. Mike Shields has 102,000, so he's a new winner for the Alliance. He will be fired up to go on this Alaskan cruise. James and Jane are so close. So close. Kimberly Spinelli Young is close. Minerva Profil. Billy Crane. It's Billy and, does anybody know who's Billy and, y'all don't know? Ava. They'll be texting me. I should know. I know it's Stephen Davies' team, and I want to say Jeremico Edwards' team. So they're brand new, winning their first trip already with a 92,000. James Coleman, of course. Stephen Bowery out of Hawaii, he's close. MK, she's right up there with 15,000. Marcus and Carla Richardson. Brandon Beal is on to nipping at the heels of winning the trip. Phil Abair. Travis Graham, my buddy, with 20,000 bonus points so far. He's so close. DJ Jennings, that's y'all's team. DJ? DJ's getting close. Tracy Alvarado is close. Adam Johnson and Tim Tipton is close. So that's the top 20 that are on track to win this. Dora, you were that close to being in the list of top 20. And Nick and George and Jonathan and Mimi and Joseph and Marty. You guys, Rachel. All right, let's fill this ship up. Alaska next year, because in 2 weeks we'll be headed, 3 weeks? 3 weeks we'll be headed to Paris. You'll be like, shoot, I didn't want to go anyway. I got too much to do. Like, I don't want to listen to all that next year. I didn't really care. I mean, I know, I didn't. All right. I'm trying to be nice, Jane. All right, this is an interesting report that I've got here. This is different people that have produced this year, and I noticed on the second page where I was looking at, it might be the third page, just some names of people that are just kind of coming out of the blue, and starting to kick butt and take names. All it is just telling who is starting to grow. Christian Cameron is come out of the blue. Last year issued 69,000 all year, and I was already paid 51,000. Dennis Lyon last year paid 66,000 in a year and was already at 36. And here's Billy Crane. He's already paid 72,000 last year, 58,000. So that is a 400 on track for a 400% increase. It happens. I'm going to talk about how it happens too. It's the mindset. A lot of times it's just mindset. Merlene Felix is up about 67%. Next page was some crazy ones. Steve Seapost is up 89%. He went from 47,000 last year, already did 21,000. Joey Gamboa, these are names I don't know these people that good. 46,000 last year, already at 20, up 78%. Tammy Wethrup is up from last year 45,000, already at 21,000. That's 92% increase. DJ, mentioned before, he is at 43,000 last year, already 28,000. Austin Underwood, look at here, baby. Got that thing growing. Heather Huddleston is up 86%. Dee Henderson up 155%. One of Adam Katz's guys, Jason Grant, is up 87%. So I mean, there's a lot of people on the first page that are growing, but they're people that we knew. Dora Wasaki, she's smoking this year, up 65%. Jan Miller is up 25%. That's awesome, up in New Jersey. Lisa Lyon up 11%. Some crazy numbers. Jonathan Yakey, I mentioned his name earlier, or if I didn't, he's close on the cruise. He's up 59%. Stan the Man Aldridge is up 78%. So we've got some numbers. Sarge is up 13%. And that sucker was like number 1 or 2 or 3 in the company, and he's already up 13%. So we've got a lot of good things. I try to look at it. People always go like, "You've seen that I'm up, right?" And I go, "Look, have you seen?" No, I hadn't. I haven't noticed that you're growing, but I mean, I try to. If you're on the first couple pages, I usually do. Usually, and it helps. One of the things is if your manager's promoting your name and saying what's going on, that helps. All right. So I got, oh, I know what on to. Can you pull me up one of my pictures, Billy? I like, if you could do it in my order, that's fine. This is one morning about 6 a.m. The guy, my buddy, my professional says, this is highly unusual. These are African wild dogs. And it was crazy because on the jet on the way back, I read how unusual it is to see these guys. And this one came right up to the truck. And he said they were real curious. It was 5 of them. And it was barely light enough to see them. I've enhanced the picture so you can see them. Go ahead, keep clicking through, Billy. Can you see these? These are bees. And this is 2.5 hours. We had walked about 8.5 miles through the woods, 90-degree weather. And he said, "All right, Philip's going to go back and get the truck." I was like, "Yeah, no problem." And I was thinking, wait a minute. That was 8 miles back. So this guy treks out to go get and he says, "We just wait here in the shade." The problem is Poponi, which is these little bees, are in the shade. And they didn't sting or bite, but they would crawl up in your nose, in your ears, in your eyes, and that didn't bother me as much as the it was driving me crazy. I was like, "Does anybody need a new jet? I'll give it to you if you can make this." I mean, I'll confess, I did it. I shot them, I hit them, I cussed them, I said it. I regret. I'm not kidding you. Billy was dying laughing. I said, I'll give him anything, Bo. And back up. So I noticed one of the guys that lived there stuck leaves up in it. And so what you do is you end up sitting here doing this right here, like this right here all the time. And so then I saw what he was doing. He put all these leaves. He just shake his head like that, and the leaves would do that right there. And another guy goes, "Oh, you want a net?" So he gives me this overhaul head net. So I got the stuff under there, and I was The only time I had signal the whole time I was there, I got signal. I was like, ah, I'm going to call Jane. This will distract me. So I called Jane. I got on there. I was on the phone with her. And then it was crazy. 2.5 hours into it, Billy said, why don't you put on your headphones, like the ear muff things? And I was like, put those things on, turn the volume off. I was so fired up. They really never bothered me again after I figured out the headset thing. I was going crazy. It's a new level of patience was obtained by me, and Billy Chavis was with me. I mean, new level of patience. I've never experienced anything of that and no relief in sight. No idea. 2 hours and 50 minutes he came back and picked us up. I was so, but if you're walking, it didn't bother you. But we just walked 8 miles. So I could walk back and forth. You know, I was like, I ain't doing that. All right, then my elephant. Seeing these big creatures up close and impersonal. That was from 35 yards away, 35 steps away, because I measured it. All right, what's up? Just a different picture of that, them looking straight on. This is called a dung beetle. If we could find the elephant manure before the dung beetle got to them, we knew we were close. But if they'd already got to them, he was like, they're way up because dung beetles already got. They'd kick it, and that's really that big. All right, is that it on my pictures? That one? Oh, how about that view? Wow. Keep going. Oh, this was fun. To watch these guys get out of there and go to chopping, Bo. Get out there and go to chopping. We go right through it. Or either we go around it. I don't even know what to tell you. But we in the middle of the jungle having lunch and laughing and cutting up. This guy's from Botswana. This guy's from Zimbabwe. Both of them. He lives in South Africa now. Go ahead. All their life. Views like that every afternoon. We were on 480,000 acres. 480,000 acres. This is that same scene, that wide scene I showed before when these guys showed up. That was from about 60 yards away. This is one of my favorite things. We were coming back, and this lady sat down from us and across from us in the airport, me and Billy, and I said, hey, where are you from? She says, I'm from South Africa. And I said, how long you lived here? She said, since I was 7, and I'm 91. Wow. And she asked me, and she's traveling by herself, and she was in first class. And she asked me, she said, would you watch my bags? I'm going to get me something to eat. I said, only if you answer a few questions about South Africa. And she was like, what do you want to know? And I moved over there beside her, and she talked to me and Billy, and we laughed. So I can imagine somebody 91 years old, had family all over the world, and what she's seen, and it was educational. I think that's the last one, unless it was one of me and Billy. This is coming back at night, every night. Look at it. This is how hard it is from way to capture stuff. The sun going down every night and going back. We always saw baboons and animals late at night. It was just so crazy. I think that's it, right, Billy? One more of an elephant buddy. Another one. Oh, yeah. That is I know what it is. The fur. What's I don't know why I messed that one up. Huh? No. I'll think of it in a minute. No, that's a wild African dog. It's not a dingo. All right. Mud holes from elephants. That's one of Billy's. Billy was up close to that one. There's me and Billy's flashing them up there. It's stories behind crazy stories behind every one of these pictures that we're going to try to document, and me and him, and keep it in front of us. I want to talk to you about mindset. And somebody hit me with this. They said, I know mindset's everything, but. And I said, no, mindset's everything and. You could look at it as training. It could look at it as, your instinctive response? Like, how do you respond? Or where are you? What's your mindset? Like, I don't teach this as a mindset, but y'all have heard me say this. Why do I continue to do? I don't want to go back. It's just all that is a mindset. Is all that is. Or I talked to an individual just probably less than an hour ago, and he had quit his job and he's going full time. And I hit him with mindset right off the bat. Two things I hit him with is man, when you quit your job like that, don't let up. Now's the time to dig in and push harder. Like, it's just an instinctive response to me on what I'm supposed to do. Now, I got to tell you, Aaron, I hit you with mindset this morning. Aaron was on track doing something, which was on track. And I said, how you doing with that? And he said, I fell off. And I said, you know what you need to do? And he said, what? I said, get back on it. He was keeping in touch with Chadwick Ray's, what he was doing, and he just fell off of it, right? And people say, like, oh, that's terrible. You embarrassed him. Like, let me tell you something. It's the story of my life. I hit him with, dude, you know how bad I got off my diet in Africa? Them jokers can't spell keto. They got brown sugar, white sugar. The only thing, they ain't got no kind of fake sugar whatsoever. They got sugar cane. Ain't got none of that stevia stuff over there, Bo. Not where we was. You know what I mean? And gravy, God knows. They got this stuff. They got this cream stuff you put on a cake. Listen to the name of it. Eat some more. Eat some more was the name of it. And the way they serve it, it's just unbelievable because it's a cake, and it's like, God, what's that brown milk in a can? Condensed milk? Is that the one that's brown sugar you make? Just fluff it up just a little bit and pour it over a cake. God! And I said, what's the name of this? They said, eat some more. I said, no, what's the name of it? And they pulled it, and they serve it. It actually comes in a carton, and they just squirt it over. God, that stuff mess you up. So I was so far off my diet, I couldn't, and they might have had some African wine over there. It just, you don't walk 10 miles that day and Papani buzz all up your nose. You feel like you deserve a drink today, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing if you worked all day, 8-10 hours, and, behave yourself, but, you feel like they roll out them pork chops and that big gravy and stuff out there, Bo. Fried chicken gravy. It's the story of my life. I can't stay on. Anybody, I hope, is there anybody else like me and Aaron, you can't stay on track? The speed that you get back on the horse is all the mindset. That's all it is. And when I was 27, I got it. I was like, I am an idiot. I get back on a horse. At 55, I'm going like, I'm an old idiot. Like, how have you not learned this stuff by now? But I realize my best ability is just getting back up as quick as possible, shake it off. People ask me, how do you forget about this? How do you put about this? And my first thing is always, same way when I stump my toe. The first thing I start doing is start thinking about something else because it just hurts so bad. And I go, all right, I'm an idiot. I've seen this bed here for 20 years, and yet I still bump into it. And all right. So several people helped me with this. Burke Hedges was talking to me, and Jeff Bright was talking to me. And so I got this combination of things. I wanted to talk about mindset. And I hit you with this one. The first thing is not engaging. This is a quote from Lala Dila. The greatest win is walking away and choosing not to engage in drama and the toxic energy of it all. So when you're in something and if you get engaged in it and it's toxic, it gets worse. So here we go. Forget about the fear. Forget about the problem. Focus on the desire. I know this is a challenge, but I know this is the answer. We can't dwell on the negative. We got to dwell on what we want. We want to kill it. And people hit me, everything I'm going to tell you is the but people hit me with a but this and but that. And I'm just telling you, this is a sneaky little secret. Focus on what you want and what you're trying to get. Okay? It is a weird... All right. So, goal setting. What have you decided that you want to achieve, and how often do you think of that? If you could put a tick mark, what's going on in your head, y'all heard this, get your mind right. If we could just check every minute, what are you thinking about? If you think that I don't know about your insecurities, and you think you can fake me like you're always positive and you're insecure, you're not a liar, but you're not deceiving me. The reason I know this is because of my mindset. I know how often, I got to be careful, because I'm sensitive to it, that I go like, I got to move over here. We just got to stop that and move back over here. Other people's opinions, they will help you stay stupid. They're more than willing to give you dumb advice. When you're negative, they'll jump in with you so fast. When you're positive and talking about what you want, it's harder to get people on board. Like one of my deals is like, why don't I have 300 psycho crazy people yet? Because that's the toughest part. James and Jane, wouldn't it be easier if we could find another Paul and Sam? Wouldn't it be easier if we could find one more Balak? Wouldn't it be easier if we could find another Hey, how about this, Jasmine? Wouldn't it be great if you could find James and Jane? you want me like that? That's the hardest thing. Some people think it's the hardest thing is you. You think getting you fixed is a mess? Wait until after you get yourself fixed, and then you get some other people with all their jacked up stuff in their head. But it's been able to turn that. Okay, focus on your desires. Oh gosh, this is a good one, Jeff. Focusing on your desire. How does it? Focusing on your desire motivates you to trust people again. Motivates you to trust action again. I've said this a million times, maybe not it's a million times. It's surprising to me how much motivation matters. ACT, Alliance Certification Training, there is so much how taught, but it surprises me how much motivation matters in addition to the how. Especially if you've been around a while and you know how. You need to focus on desire for motivation so you can trust other people. Because it is... I was riding with the CEO of Forrester's playing golf in Toronto, and he said, what's the toughest thing? I said, people. People quit, people cry, people stop. And he's like, how do we stop that? I said, find better people and train the people we got how not to quit. And so mindset is how it's really action that you don't stop. To make one step further, get back on the horse, get back on the diet, get back on the connection. Figure out how to do it quick. Focusing on the desire distracts you to hope again. When you start thinking about the future, you start with hope. Hope raises your motivation, raises your excitement level, and produces you to act. This is just simple mind tricks. What was that? I like that movie, Mind Tricks of Goats, or Men Make Goats. Men Stare at Goats. Yeah. Men Who Stare at Goats. Or Several people have come up to me lately and said, hey, I watched that Cool Hand Luke show you were talking about. What's the point to it? And I go like, get your mind right. And they go like, that's it? I said, yeah. Got to get your mind right. The whole thing was getting your mind right. I like the part when he said, dig a hole. And Luke dug a hole 6 foot deep, 6 foot wide, 6 foot square. He said, what do you want me to do now? He said, put the dirt back in it. He said, got to get your mind right. I was like, it seems like nothing, but you hear this all the time. That last 6 inches, the 6 inches between your ears, how do you get your mind right to move on? All right. All right. So forget about your fear, focus on desire. How about this? Forget about past failures, focus on future growth. How many people got the failures? Here's the thing is, it's not going to get better. The older you get, you're going to have more errors. More people are going to die. That's the know when people freak out. Oh, Uncle died. I go, wait till you get older. All of them going to die. we were getting ready to play golf, and it was ice. You know, one of those just terrible times to play golf. And some people come in from the back nine, and we were getting ready. We said, man, it's cold out there. I said, wait until your feet get wet. You're like, what? That's the whole thing. If you got to forget about the past, focus on the future. Okay, here we are today. Here's tomorrow. Here's next week. Here's when we turn 50. Here's when we turn 60. Here's when we're 70. You with me? The further you go out, so where can you go out? Let's just go out to death. Okay? Now, what's your perspective? You're about to die. What's your perspective? Long-term thinking makes it so much easier to stay motivated. Because I don't care how bad it is, you're going to die. I don't care how bad it is. I don't care how good it is. You're going to die. So how does that motivate? Here's the way it motivates me. Nothing really matters but who I've helped and what I did to make a difference for my faith, my religion, and my friends. Nothing else matters. So going bankrupt, losing everything, having them take your car, take your house, means nothing if you're at death. Losing friends, losing your reputation, losing who you are, not helping anybody, being self-centered, only worried about you. When you die, that's going to be a terrible, terrible situation. But if you think about that, it changes I know that's the ultimate long term, but that's just where it's going to be. Like people are like, I should die. I know, and I try to be. I've worked so hard on this long term thinking. It's been like a hobby, a talent, a skill. That's what it is. A skill that I've wanted to develop, which is not getting caught up in the drama and being held down. I've said this. I prefer to have a wreck in my jet, not a car, because a car, you're going to get an arm cut off or you lose eyesight. You go down in a jet, you're dead. You know what I'm talking about? Does that make sense? In other words, because I thought, like, what if I had my arm cut off? I would be so... And what if it was my right hand that got cut off? I'd be like, oh, God. Like, how are you going to button buttons? You're going to have all zip shirts and Velcro shoes and you just... You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking just like... It would be annoying to me. And you say, it'd be worse than annoying. It'd be terrible. No, it'd be annoying to me until I died. I'd be like... You're tracking with me? Like, if you can think about this, is the longest term I can think about. Well, people are short-term thinking. They look at where they are. I'm too fat. I'm too cold. I've got too many papani buzzing in my ear. Whatever the short-term problem is, getting caught up in that drama kills you. or it stagnates you. It stops you. The quicker you can think long-term and not short-term, you feel so much better. It helps you, this kind of thinking helps you to bounce back faster. It's not, it tells you how many things don't really matter. And I'm not a non-emotional person that nothing bothers me. However, I think if you compared me to a lot of other people, they let stuff get them crazy mad, crazy fast. Whatever the emotion is, crazy disgusted, crazy mad, crazy jealous, crazy feel like somebody else is getting more than their share, jealousy, any of those psychoness things that take you off track. There's a straight line. Anything that takes you off track, the more you can think about the future, the quicker you can pull that rubber band back. That makes sense? As a matter of fact, when you're driving depth, Billy, you already got me to the right place. Thank you, sir. He is good. Of course, he was trained in Africa in the last 15 weeks. If this is you, that's why if you're hiring down right here, and this person right here kind of moves, they're like out of line, like they're not getting referrals. They're not attending, they're not coming to convention. What you want to do is walk down right here and get yourself a tight bond between this person right here. Like you get a straight bond just straight to them. Because what that'll do is this person, a lot of times, they're stretched out, and the tighter, let me draw it again. See how it works. Let's take this person out. If it goes down like this right here, if you can pull that string tight, it pulls this person back in. Does that make sense? That's why you always work depth. It's because you get a tight, that's why I said a rubber band. This is like a rubber band. If you pull a rubber band tight, and if a person is out of sorts, it pulls them back in if you've got a tight bond between the person at the bottom. That's why you don't always work through people. You want to talk to this person, then you want to talk to this person, then you want to talk to this person. You don't want to send a message here. You want to go down yourself because that creates that bond. And talk to them about these mindset things. I remember dealing with Adam Katz, Stephen Davies, people that have become really close to me, Chris Long. It's first initially talk to them about long-term thinking. Where are we going? Are we going to be friends 20 years from now? Are we going to be friends 30 years from now? Or are we going to get old together? That type of long-term thinking eliminates a lot of drama in your life. Everybody has doubt. Long-term thinking defeats doubt, holds doubt down, and builds up your confidence. It creates your initiative, and it stops procrastination. It's so psycho to me, Tara, to think that thinking about dying keeps me from procrastinating. How does that tie in? But when you think about dying, do you hear the clock going tick-tock? You're not going to, if you think about going to this Alaska, that's long term, it's only 1 year away, less than a year away. The more you think about it, the more you hear that clock going tick-tock in your mind. That's why goals are so important. Whether it's 2 year, whether it's 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, or the ultimate, it stops procrastination, or it reduces procrastination in your life. Somebody was saying this to me when I was in Africa, and I was going through it was painful, and the deal was, you're alive. Meaning, you're in the battle. Life was meant to be a challenge when you're out of your comfort zone. When something's crazy going on, you're growing. When you start to realize that. That kind of makes sense to y'all? A lot of this stuff I didn't want to hear. when I first started in business, I kept thinking, why is this important? Why do I have to deal with this? Can't you just tell me exactly what I got to do? And I am telling you, this is where people have it wrong. They have the wrong mindset. They have the wrong goal in mind. They don't know what they're doing, and they're worried about. I'm going to go. What's the opposite of this? The blame game. If you don't take responsibility for everything that's happening in your life, it's such a contradiction. I don't want you to put yourself down. Okay? You've got everything you need to succeed. I don't need for you to put yourself down. But the minute you start blaming the leads or the economy or the president or anybody for anything, everything I'm talking about, the mindset goes to hell in a handbasket. You totally lose everything when you blame something. You've got to say, it's my fault. Without putting yourself down, say, my fault, and I have the ability inside of me. How do I get that ability outside of me? And there's the two things that you need to control is the way you think and the way you wag this, tongue. You know, what you say. Because what you say is going out of your mouth and coming back into this brain thing. Okay? All right. Focusing on forget about your inadequacies and focus on your strength. What are you bad at? What are you good at? I do love to interview people, and they say things. I like this. This is a good interview technique. They say, what's your weakness? Well, I'm a perfectionist, and I know that's a problem. And I go like, you understand that that's a very tricky interview technique that I'm very familiar with. Your weakness is not perfection. Your weakness is you're full of crap. Because I'm sitting here looking at the way you're dressed, and it ain't perfect. You with me? In other words, they're trying to trick you, which I kind of like. Does that make sense? I remember in college learning these techniques, and they said, whenever they ask you what your problems are, just take one of your good things extreme. I was like, oh, very tricky, are you? Right? I'm a perfectionist, and when other people don't do stuff right, I get mad. That's my biggest weakness. Tracking with me on this? I'm very familiar with these interview techniques. You need to start interviewing with yourself. So when your self is questioning what's wrong with you, you need to say, I'm really good at this, I'm really good at this, I'm really good at this. And when you say, but you're really bad at this, you say, but that's really a positive. Does that make sense? I'm a detail person. That's really one of my big weaknesses. I'm like, you're really trying to, I know that's detail person is positive. This makes it's the same as when I ask people have you bought your own personal policy, and they say, no, I haven't been able to do this yet. So what happened is you have accepted an excuse from yourself on why you hadn't bought a policy yet. Does that make sense? So you're talking to yourself about buying a policy. You don't have money. You don't have a reason that you need it. We got to master this thing of getting over the way mindset, the way we interview ourselves. Take any strength that you got and let's start talking about that. Not your weakness. Everybody's got them. Don't think everybody deals with that. How about this? I'm not perfect. I make mistakes all the time. But here's one thing that I can do. I'm an action person. Now, here's what you could say, but I'm not an action person. All you've got to do is say I'm an action person and then start doing it, and the whole world will think that that's who you are. You say, but then I'll be a fake. Well, And that's like, I want to deal with that just a little bit. I'm a fake. In Dunn, North Carolina, we used to sell artistry makeup. It was an Amway product, and we tried to get people to buy it. And here's what we said. 65% of the women in Dunn, North Carolina wore makeup. All of them needed to wear makeup.
Wow. Easy.
Hear what I'm telling you? Fake. We were wishing they would fake, because then we would not know that they were faking. Does that make sense? Like getting up and getting dressed, saying yes ma'am, saying yes sir, being polite, sharing. You're not a perfect person, therefore you fake. Does that make sense? It's like get over this thing about, I don't want to fake it, I want to be my true self. Your authentic self is you're selfish. Your authentic self is you're lazy. I get it. So let's take who this authentic is, and then let's take who this fake is, and let's mimic that person and see what kind of results we get. This has been my life. I think I'm inadequate. I think I'm not who I am. I was listening to an audio this morning. He said, answering a question, I feel like I'm young and people just don't take me serious. I go, wait until you get 55 and people don't take you serious because you're too old. You're too this. You're too that. There is never going to be a lack of inadequacies available for you. You're always going to be able to pick out your problems. You think it's obvious because you're 21 years old that being too young is this, or because you're obviously you're training as a grocery store worker guys, like it's just I don't have the background for it. You're always going to have this ability to point out your inadequacies. Don't think your my situation is different. Like, all right. Tell me your situation. And they tell me their situation. And you want to say to them, like, I know 17 people that's worse problem than what you have. You got 3rd degree cancer. I got people with 5th degree cancer. I know people that have died with it. How about that? But they don't like, it's supposed to be a topper. So you can't top them. So you just sit there and you pretend like their situation is different, knowing after you've done this for a while. Knowing that everybody's dealing with these inadequacies, some people believe them and absorb them, and other people fake it, if you will. Does that make sense? I get how hard it is, but I'm trying to tell you how simple it is. People going to believe what you do. They're going to believe your activity. They're going to believe the evidence. They're not going to ever see what's in your heart. You said, well, what if in my heart I'm a hard worker? Show them on the outside. It's in you what it takes. Get it out of you. Get it out here in the public, and let's show it. All right. Strengths. Study. Focusing on forget about your inadequacies, focus on your strength, promotes your drive. It re-energizes your urgency. It gets this psycho-ness moving. It empowers your ambition. How about this? Let's say you've been doing this for a year or 2 months and you still hadn't made a sale. Have you booked appointments yet? Here's the way the process works. First, you're scared to make phone calls. Then you make phone calls. Then you don't make appointments. Then you do make appointments. Then they no-show you. So now you're trying to make an appointment and get them to show up. Then, after they start showing up, you ain't getting checks. So then you start getting the checks, and then they cancel it. She go like, I gotta get them on the phone. I gotta get them to show. I book appointments. I gotta get them to show up. I gotta get them to quit counseling. Does that make sense? Like all it is so if you're a month in, what have you got good at? Because people say this, like, I just don't feel like I've accomplished anything. Like, you got to think through, what are you better at? Do you understand now? Do you have the 800 number to call the insurance company? Yes. You didn't have that when you first started. Remember that? When you was like, who do I call? What do I do? Now you know the number by heart, or you know where to get it. Or better, you know the person's name that you can call and talk to them. You might even have their cell phone number. When you start taking an inventory of the things you've learned, it empowers you to have more confidence, to take more action. Does that make sense? It's the mindset of, at least I know this, at least if I do that. That's why they say if a person becomes a millionaire, you can take everything you want from them. If they want it back, they'll get it back because they know how they got it. So how'd they lose it, bro? Stuff happens in life. It's going to happen. People are going to have disasters. And see, if you sit here and you go, look, like I'm in business, I'm dealing with 2 or 3 crazy things. Speaking of crazy things, listen, let's talk about the ARC, and let's talk about pending, and let's talk about the pay cycles. Let's talk about all that. You have no idea how crazy intense I am about that right now. I am talking to carriers. I've asked Jim Henson and Robbie to fly to carriers. I'm talking to the vice presidents. I got Tony Hardy starting to talk to the IT people. It's crazy intense. You with me? But we didn't even, before we started the ARC, we didn't know the problems we was going to have. Now we know the problems we're going to have. Does that make sense? Like I can't fix something until I deal with it. I knew what I wanted. I wanted the ability to control a lot of things in my organization. I wanted Stephen Davies to be able to control some stuff that he was dealing with. I wanted Paul Roberts to be able to control some things in their downline. I wanted them to be able to control who the clients were. I wanted my managers to own the clients. I knew what I wanted. What I didn't know is how hard it was going to be. It's kind of like when I wanted to be rich and I wanted to be free and I wanted to travel the world. I did not know a lot of things I was going to have to put up with. I can tell you the things, but until somebody tells you that they're with you 100% and then you feel like they stabbed you in your back, you'll never know what that feeling feels like until they stab you in your back. But once they stab you in your back and then you survive and you get up and do it again, you start knowing what you can deal with, and you start getting this. I want to call it thick skin, but you've got to stay open to being hurt in order to keep moving forward. You tracking with me on this? So, like, if you think I ain't hurting in what we're dealing with the ARC and trying to get people paid on time and how frustrating that is, I get it. And I am furious. But what I know is I got to go like, we figured that one out. Oh, yeah, Mutual of Omaha. Woo-hoo! These boys will send the information every week. Sometimes it'll be a week and a half or one day, two. Now we got them sending information every day. So now we think Mutual of Omaha is one of the best at sending us information. So we got that one down. And I thought National Life Group was perfect. And then I got an email today, and I was like, New York. So National Life Group is good unless it's New York. I'm like, God. So, but once we get that fixed, now we'll be good with National Life Group in New York. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's like once you get good at booking appointments, you can't stop there. You got to get good at making them show up. Once you get good at getting a check, you got to get good at referrals. And you got to just put this inventory of stuff in your, like when I ask people, I say, what are you grateful for, or what are you thankful for, or what do you know now that you didn't know? They think, here's what they think. They think I'm trying to trick them into being positive. And they think I'm trying to trick them into not quitting, which is kind of true. I kind of want them to not quit. But really, what I really want them to do is get ridiculously successful. And the mindset to get ridiculously successful is keeping that inventory and realizing what you've learned and what we've dealt with so far. Does that kind of make sense? So I want to say this too, for those of you that are dealing with this, I'm not thrilled with what we did on our stipend. I kind of am. I didn't actually talk to Mike Allen when he's going on. He said, Andy, I get it that y'all are doing right. He said, but we got to figure out a way to get people to know we're doing right faster. I was like, right. Does that make sense? Like we got to get it clear, and we got to get it simple, and we got to get it concise. And that's what he was saying. So we know we got it right, but we got to get it clear and simple and concise for people. So it's been a tremendous that aspect moving over to the Ark. People say, "Are y'all still excited?" Oh my God, we know. What do we know? Long term. We know right now we stumped our toe, or right now we got a mess, or right now we're having to work through this. But long term, we know that we will have went through this uncomfortable time and what we're going to get. So watch this. Here's what some people are doing. Some people, whenever they get uncomfortable, they stop, or they isolate, or they get quiet. And they think that them getting quiet, I had one of my buddies, he calls it, I just got my head down working. I don't want to get out there and get hurt. I don't want to stand up and get punched in the face. Right? You understand what I'm saying? That's the only way, though, that we're going to get this thing. So other people, they've got their head down. Have y'all heard that story about the way buffalo do versus cows? When a storm comes, buffalo will wander. Cows will wander around, and they might move with the storm. They never get out of the storm because they're wandering around the storms, whereas buffalo just head right for the storm. They'll be like, So some of our agents are going like, man, this is awesome. Ark's perfect. We're just hiring people. And they're going like, almost like, do they not know that we're having challenges? The ones that don't know we're having challenges, they know it, but you don't see them talking about it or thinking about it. What they're thinking about is getting another great person, another intelligent person, another hard driving person, another person that's focused on the future. That's right. Does that make sense? It's the mindset of I got to keep going. I got to go into this storm and quit stopping. That's right. This is stuff. Okay. Respect the new skills that you're learning. Get better and better at the basics. This all ties into forget about your inadequacies and focus on your strength. How about friendships? How about mentors? Who do I have now? I now have the Goads. I now have Jeff Bright. I now have Jim Henson. If you have now have Robbie Kraft, now have Gina Hawks on your team. I've now moved my first annuity. Because people do this. They'll move an annuity and then not sell another one because they're focusing on not being able to find it. Like you need to start just, I got one, I did this, I know how to do this. Keep bringing up those positive thoughts and you're basically building you're building armor around yourself by listening to all the things that you have, even no matter how little they are. So I am trying to trick you into not quitting, but what I'm really trying to do is get you motivated to take more action so you get more results. And by the way, all of this stuff, this mindset stuff is habit stuff. Reading books is habit. You feel like, I know other people now think I'm weird that I just keep getting back on the bus, keep getting back on the horse, keep picking the books back up, turning the audio back on. Because I'll go, it was a mess for power over there where we are out in the jungle. So having audios was a real challenge. Reading, though, in the mornings, just get a few pages in. It's just a habit that you need to develop. It's this is your mindset. This is life-changing if you can get into it. Oh, by the way, the best way to get into a mindset is peer pressure. The people you hang around, So you're standing here. There's going to be negative people and there's positive people. And all you need to do is step toward the positive people. Everybody in this room, you stepped toward positive. If you were at home and you turned on the TWC, you clicked on the link, and now you're listening, you chose positivity. Now, let me explain something to you. If you eat a Krispy Kreme donut with a Diet Coke, that's what people do. I'm positive all the time. And as soon as the show goes off, they start bitching. Or they take a call from a negative person and they say, I'm trying to help this person. Somebody, who's got my number you can call me? Who can quickly call it? Raise your hand. Who can dial it? Hit me back. I'll show you how this works. Not go to me? All right, watch this. Okay, watch this. If I hit the green button, I'm making money. If I hit the red, I am not making money. So here's the way I do this. If it's a making money person, a positive person, I take it. If it's a negative person, I don't take it. Does that make a lot? And this guy was asking me, he said, how did you get that set up on your phone? Who was with me? We were in, I was cracking up. He said, how did you get him to set that up? Adam Katz is calling me now. So if Adam calls me, I'm taking the call. Does that make sense? Tracking with me? Green is a positive, money-making person in my life. Red is a negative individual. And I'm kind of nice about it. Hit me back one more time. Adam, hit me back one more time. Show you what I can do with it. I've got this. Yeah, here we go. I feel it. There's a message thing right here. It says, can I call you later? I'm on my way, or I hit custom. And then I can say something like, I'm tied up right now. I'll buzz you back. It's my ability to put off the negative. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Tell it.
Jenny Patel. Everybody's in on the show. Hey, Jenny. It's negative. Put off negativity. Like if you're going to eat the donut, just put it off till tomorrow or put it off to weekends. And that's my whole deal. Is I was telling Aaron, I said I'd straighten up 2 days. I'm on my diet, straight up, 2 full days. I'm so excited. So I've been thinking about when I'm not going to be on it again. You know what I mean? Like I'm putting it off, right? Yeah, I'm thinking Paris, baby. But I got to go through Croatia and all that, and I was like, I don't know, because they're gonna have good stuff over there. But I'm thinking I am not going to be fun in San Antonio and Duluth and Lakeland and Fort Lauderdale next week. I can hear Owens now. Come on, Albright. I'm like, no, Owens, get away from me. Get away from me, Owens. I'm already, look, you think I'm joking. I am serious. I've already been thinking. I got to plan ahead how I'm going to put. Now, he's scheming right now. Like, as soon as he knows I'm scheming to stay out of, he's saying, does that make sense? Like, this is the way it works. There's a book, how many of y'all have heard read Screw Tape Letters? 1, 2, 3, 4 people have read Screw Tape Letters. It's about the senior devil explaining to the junior devil how he's going to mess people's head up, and then they'll mess their hand up, their body up, and that'll mess their soul up. And it's a very strategic strategy they have going at you. It's written by that same guy that did The Witch, C.S. Lewis, The Witch, the Lion, the Wardrobe. And his same book called same guy wrote a book called The Problem with Pain. The Problem with Pain. And I like stuff like that because it just tells you how some people think and then how losers think. And so you just change the way you think, moving over here and away from over there. So it's not like that I don't want to do the wrong stuff. That's not what I'm telling you. I have not developed that ability. I've developed the ability to avoid it a day longer than you. Does that making sense what I'm telling you? I'm just a putter-offer. And you're like, I thought you were a doer. No, no, no. I'm a doer for the things that'll get what I want. I'm a putter-offer for the things that'll... So really then I got to be a discerner. Is this a red button? Is it a green button? Is this making me money or is this costing me money? Because people will call me and get on the phone and start telling me negative. I say, hey, this is interesting stuff. Who's the best person you got right now? Or can you give me one good thing right now? So if they say, well, I didn't get a check yesterday. I go, oh, whoa, hey, whoo, thanks, okay. All right, let's deal with that. And they go, what do you mean deal with that? Did you get referrals? See what I'm saying? In other words, they got me over here on a money-losing project. And I'm thinking, I can't win. I can't win this battle. I got to switch battles. I got to go to one I can win. So then as soon as they hit me with a positive, I start thinking about where around that positive can I battle. Because once you get into a positive, then you figure out what a person didn't do they could have done. Does that make sense? Because if they're over here and this can't win, they're all comfortable because you can't get them. Like if you hit me with a can't win, then I can't tell you what to do. You'd be like here's one of the people. God told me to quit. So you can't win that one, right? I always tell people like whenever God tries to call them, you can't mess with them. Okay? But I say something to them. I say, well, let me ask you this. What's positive happened in your life? I go, well, I do have a person that's interested in moving an annuity. I said, well, why don't you do what God says and quit, but let's do this annuity first, and then we'll get over there on what God said. Does that make sense? Because you can't you can't argue with God, but if you could just put it off quitting. See what I'm saying? And they get that annuity, and then we say, now listen. Has God said anything to you about referrals or no? See what I'm saying? God ain't said nothing about that. Well, God was telling me to bring us. You see what I'm saying? You got to separate. Does that make sense? Like when they're, they start telling my parents this, my parents that, my children this, my wife that. You got to get out. All right, how about this? The way you see stuff is where you sit. The angle that you're looking at something changes everything. It's called, I love what Andy Andrews says, it's called perspective. Your perspective on something changes everything. Our information changes a situation. So if you can just, it's the ability to stand back and think. It's the ability to stand back and think and not get all sucked into the world, to the drama of it. Somebody calls you, a lot of people just take the phone calls, that's what they're taught to do. So, but I've trained, I'm not perfect at it, but I have trained, I'm really, especially since I do it the entertaining way, with the green and the red, I'm always like, money, no. Or money, yes. Like, if it's one of the vice presidents, one of the president's company, that's money, man. I can't not take that. No, I don't care who you are. I'm going to say, hey, give me a second. I got to talk to Matt Berman, or I got to talk to Bruce, or I got to talk to one of the head guys. Or if it's Stephen Davies or Chris Long, I'm going to take the phone call. I'm just not going. I can't piddle around with it. We're trying to make money. All right. Okay. Last one here. I didn't do this. Let's do this. The inadequacies. Forget about your inadequacies and go to strength. There are limitations to the mind there are no limitations to the mind except what we acknowledge. Both poverty and riches are offspring of thought. This is Napoleon Hill. I know it's right out of Think and Grow Rich. It's in there. No limitations to the mind except what we acknowledge. That's the problem is people acknowledge the short term. Stop acknowledging the short term. Look at the long term. We're going to win. If you're sitting here and we're dealing with a carrier, like right now we've got 2 good guaranteed issue, right? We've been down to 1. We have been in a situation we had no carrier with guaranteed issue. If you're right here and you get hung up on that, wish we had a guaranteed issue. Right now we got them. There might be one day we might not have them. So people go like, I can't believe we lost all our guarantee issue companies. And me either. So let me ask you this. How you doing on setting appointments this week? You see me? Like, I hear you, and I agree with you. Wish it was better, but it's not. We don't have them right now. People, and I mean, there's negative people like, what's he saying? Does he think there's going to be a problem? I'm like, ah! What I'm saying is, we're going through a time period. If you know that when we get through this, if you know that when we get through this, we're going to be tighter as a team, and we're going to get better, and we're going to get smarter. And when we get to here, and you're still with us, and we get a guaranteed issue back, woohoo! So what I could tell you is, all the problems you think you're having, have you thought about the fact that we have 2 guaranteed issue companies right now? You don't want to think about that, do you? Oh, no! You want to focus on something. Every time, they say this, every man's junk is another man's treasure. When there's chaos and problems, it's an opportunity. So what are you doing when we're dealing with stuff? Are you moving forward, or are you going into isolation? Are you getting quiet? Are you stopping? Are you pausing? Are you dramatizing? What's happening with you? Let's go back to past failures. Picture your brain forming new connections as you meet the challenge and learn. Keep on going. Picture your brain forming new connections as you meet the challenge and learn. Oh, Lord. When I ever do these talks, my mind goes through stuff that I'm dealing with. And then I hear that, and I go, Albright, you've got to picture your mind getting smarter because of the mess you're dealing with. It's such a prickly, to me, it's as crazy to me as it is to you. I'm not like, I haven't mastered this stuff. All right. Forget about excuses. Focus on why not. Why not me? Why not now? I never forget this. There's a limited number of multimillionaires in America, and I was not one of them. And I got to thinking, what if I became one of them? And then I couldn't think of a reason why not me. I could think of reasons that I'm an idiot, but I was thinking, what if I lucked up and got over here in that group, who would really care? It turns out, not really any cares. I mean, they don't seem to give a rip. Like, I can't call them and say, hey, y'all want to interview me? They'd be like, who is this? Or no. They don't want to know nothing. It's the craziest thing. It's like, why not? It did not upset the universe. No bells went off. I just moved over. So when I was looking through this list of names, I was saying, what if these people could realize that, what if Billy, or what if Dora Wasaki's making a move? What if she realized that she's going to join the ranks of the elite, of the Jason and Tawny Carries, the Diane Lampies? She's going to join the Mike Leventos. She's going to join us, and nobody out there is going to like, flag on the play. This girl's from Poland. You know, this girl is not tall enough. There's nothing. We'll just welcome her in. She'll come on in. There's nothing to stop her. What this Jason that's part of Katz's team? DJ, yeah, Jason Grant. DJ, what? Nobody's gonna care. Yeah, you'll be excited for him. Your upline will care. Blake Spooner, Blake and Crystal, 772% increase. Last year they wrote 14,000 issue paid. Already wrote 31,000 issue paid.
That's right.
Kurt Denny, last year 14, already wrote 17. Nobody, you're gonna all of a sudden be in one of the elite. Danielle Shepard, last year $6,000, already at $10,000. Jack Hassett, last year $7,000, already at $12,000. All these people that are moving forward, There's no difference in their situation. Matthew Androlowitz. Now look, here you go. Androlowitz. How is he ever going to make it big? Let me tell you. Leventovich. I couldn't pronounce that. That joker became an agency manager. I started practicing. Androlowitz. Last year, $2,000. He's already wrote $13,000.
That's right.
Issue paid. Who is this? Asan Ali, $2,400, already at $34,000. God knows. There's some. See what I'm telling you. There's nobody really going to object to you succeeding other than you. The easiest person that can stop you, especially in the alliance. That's why I like this promotion chart. It couldn't be clearer that it's up to you, and you getting recognized, you getting the rings, you getting the free trips. I did not like jobs because of the politics and the vagueness of whether you got promoted and whether you was in the in crowd and whether you got an invite. Had a lot to do with other people's opinions of you. Here we do numbers. It's very simple. Focusing on the why nots builds discipline, helps you to create a habit. It's like, what if I just start? What if I became one of the people that do the do? I think that's what I got on the back of the Maybach. I remember where the stuff is. Do the do. It's like what if I started? I remember being taught this and saying, what if I just became one? What if? Or why not I become one of these people that writes $20,000 a month? Or what if I become one of these people and I make decisions like that? It embraces routine or helps you master the mundane. It's a funny thing about life. Once you begin to take notice of the things you're grateful for, you begin to lose sight of the things you lack. Once you begin to list the things you're grateful for, it dilutes your ability to focus on the negative, and now you empowers yourself to start doing the positive. It's a list of gratitude. It allows you to. It's so crazy to me. It allows you to be boring. Like doing the same thing over and over again. How about, speaking of the same thing over and over again, Mac Hefner gave me a new book. I can't wait to read it. And it was talking about the different people that are successful and how they did it. And basically, all of them became some of the boringest people in the world, at least for a temporary amount of time. How about the story of Tiger Woods? Is that not the craziest thing? So this guy becomes crazy rich and has everything in life you could ever want. Fame, fortune, his wife, his yacht, everything. His health, and then it just goes to hell in a handbasket. Right? The drunkenness, the drugs, we got arrested. Remember that? Like I was thinking about this, like I was like, did that really happen? And there was, like, they arrested him for that. And how the embarrassment, and think about what he had to go through. Poor personal choices, poor decisions that was embarrassing, divorce, and then all the publicity of that. God, terrible golf. I mean, you know there are people out there in the world going, remember that time I beat Tiger? Hey, bro, everybody beat Tiger at that tournament. You know what I mean? Just like what he did. God. Everybody suggesting he retire.
Yeah.
Hang him up, buddy. You're embarrassing yourself. You're going on and on and on. And now turns around and wins the Masters. The most celebrated. What is this? What is this? It's just an example of somebody who got focused, and did the do, and here he is again. And then I can hear him now. Yeah, how long is it going to last? I go, probably about as long as my diet. I mean, what are you, perfect? Like yeah, I'm sure like he's going to do his best, right? But he's going to have life come at him 100 miles an hour. John Maxwell, it cracked me up first time he said that. I said, what is he talking about? He said, failure is easy. People just sit right there in it and succeed at failure. Like they just steady at it. But you show a person success, and they're going to have challenges and knock them back down to failure. Success is harder to keep than failure. Does that make sense? Like it's easier that whatever you're failing at, if you're broke, you shouldn't be so proud. That's just easy, bro. Try to get rich. It's a challenge. And then try to stay that way. Try to lose 10 pounds and try to keep it off. The guys that own Keto Logic came to see me the other day. They live over here. They're CEO and the owner, the principal. And they said that most, I don't know what words he used, adherence. He said, you know standard adherence time? I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. He said, people stay on a diet about 6 months. He said, that's stout, strong, successful people, and then they usually gain more than what they lost. And I was like, don't tell me that. And he was saying that's just the way it works. So what you got to do is the getting back on it, the getting back on dials, getting back on referrals, getting back on following up with your pending. Oh, somebody was telling me, said, here's the craziest thing. I have people say, I'm not going to follow up on a pending because it's too much hassle. The person, don't be wanting me, the person that I'm talking to at the carrier, it's just too much of a hassle, so I just don't do it. And I was like, people, that's what it's all about, is the trickiness. Can you get them to fix your policy? Can you get to be friends? Bribe them. Send them some flowers, some chocolate. Other people go like, is that legal? And I go, yes, there's no rule against sending somebody chocolate yet in America. It could be one day, but we're still, take advantage of it while it's legal. You with me? Get their number. Get in with them. So get in with them. Get up in there, my daddy would say. Just call them and talk to them and ask them about their family and all your people skill techniques, things that you can develop. All right. Oh my gosh. Oh, your ability to keep the main thing the main thing. What are we trying to do? It's funny how people are like, I love helping people. I love making a difference. You talk to them 10 months later, I ain't got no money. I go, what's the main thing? I ain't got no money. I thought the main thing was helping people, making a difference in other people's lives. I thought that's what the Bible said. I thought that's what you stood for. Yeah, but. I go, mindset. I call it keeping on top of the water spout. Like here's the water spout, and here's where the money is. Stay on the mindset water spout that keeps you progressing. Ability to keep the main thing the main thing. All right. Jeff Bright, how'd I do? I cover most of it? Yeah. I want y'all to see my buddy. Y'all ain't heard him on the show. I want him to come up here. Jeff Bright, can you come up here for a couple minutes? I'm gonna as Jeff comes up here, I'm gonna wrap up with this. I'm gonna wrap up with Jeff having some comments because I love the way he phrases this stuff, and he gets me thinking. It's kind of I call mine the redneck version, and the down and dirty version. And Jeff's got these great academic ways he puts it, and I love it. But here we go. Well, you know those times when you feel like there's a sign on your back that says, "I don't mind if you kick me." So apparently everybody does. Things go from bad to worse. You think you can't get worse, and then they do. You step off the straight and narrow, and you don't know where you are. You've used the needle of your compass to sew up your broken heart. You ask directions from a genie in a bottle of Jim Beam, and she lies to you when you learn the truth. Country music, Bo. You can't argue. You can't argue with country music, Bo. If you're going through hell, keep on going. Don't slow down. If you're scared, don't show it. You might get out before the devil even knows you're there. I've been down in that darkness. I've been down in my last match. I felt 100 different demons breathing fire down my back, and I knew that if I stumbled, I'd fall right in the trap that they were laying. But the good news is there's angels everywhere on the street holding out a hand to pull you back up on your feet. There's one that you've been dragging for so long. You're on your knees. You might as well be praying. I guess what I'm saying. If you're running through hell, keep on running. Don't slow down. You might get out before the devil even knows you're there. You got to keep smiling and fighting and faking and praying and moving and reaching a hand out to the right, pressing green for the right people. What do you think, Mr. Jeff? Right?
It was funny because I had never heard that because I don't listen to country music. So
That's part of your problem?
I was in the office. I said, hey, Winston Churchill's always said, if you're going through hell, keep on going. And he's like, that's a country music song. I said, they stole that from Winston Churchill. And he don't even know it because he's dead. I think a lot of this mindset stuff that we've been talking about today it just comes back really to one thing. And I say it all the time. If we can't reconcile this one thing, we can't put this to practice. We've got to get people to figure out that they deserve better than what they got. That's right. I talk to people all the time, and I know what they're going to lead off with. Yesterday. They want to talk about yesterday so bad. And I stop them right before they start. I said, hey, we can talk. We're going to have a discussion. But you can't start off by talking about yesterday. If you want to shut somebody up really fast, limit that as part of their narrative. I say, now we'll talk about today, and we'll sure talk about tomorrow. But we're going to start talking about those two things before I'll allow you to talk about yesterday. And that stops people. Because they want to talk about why they can't do stuff. They really do. They hang on to it because you know what? They control that. That's what they have. They don't have anything else they control in their life, but they can control their past. And they may have scored, like Andy said, they may have scored 2 touchdowns back in high school. Now it's 8.
Remember?
Now it's 8. They had to.
You remember when we beat Southern? No. Did we win?
You know, this thing about deserving better, you know what hinders that? I've never really tied this together, but I'm going to tie it together for you today. You got too many choices. That's your problem. When you got so many choices in your life, that'll just stop you in your tracks. And then these choices you have distract you from the real thing, which he calls the main thing. I mean, I have an advantage over you being 57 years old. I grew up with no choices. And people that were before us, our mamas, had less choices. So you young people, you're behind us because you've got all these choices, Stephen. You got all these choices that have distracted you. We didn't get distracted that easy. We had a choice. Right? We could use a stick.
I knew it was coming.
We could use a stick as a gun or a knife. And we're going to play war out in the woods. We didn't have much choice after that. So I feel like, I've always felt like there's something better waiting for me. Even when I was waiting. Even when I was waiting. See, I don't think, a lot of people go, can you decide your fate? Yeah, you can decide it, but while you're waiting for that to be revealed to you, you got to keep busy. Or you're not going to recognize the opportunity when it comes knocking. Being busy and keeping your mind busy keeps you able to recognize the opportunity. When you have an idle mind, you'll miss every opportunity that's put in front of you. So I'm able to recognize when I see an opportunity because my mind's being active every day. That's why you see people that are suffering from like dementia, Alzheimer's. My mother worries about that a lot because my grandmother died from that. My mother works crossword puzzles all the time. She's trying to keep her mind busy because she don't want that to happen to her, right? So I try to keep my mind busy so I can recognize opportunity. Yeah.
All right. I love it. I love what he says. I'm telling y'all, people say, but other than that, what is it? This old mule fell over in one of these old wells out on the farm. You know how like they put boards over him and fell down in there? And they tried to get that joker out. They drew a rope down on him, tried to pull him up. He'd get cockways, sideways. They couldn't get him out. I said, forget it, just bury him. So they got the shovel, and they throw the dirt over on that donkey, on that mule, and that mule just shake it off like that right there. Next thing you know, he'd step up a little bit once he got 2 or 3 inches deep, and they just kept pouring that dirt on him. He just kept shaking it off and stepping it up. And eventually, he just walked right out of that well. Because the more they throw that dirt, baby, I'm just telling y'all, I've been doing this now for 18 years. I've been doing the networking thing for 27 years, and I've been on earth from 55. You shake stuff off, Bo, and you just step up just 2 or 3 inches. And you walk out, people are like, what's a miracle? It's a miracle! I shook some sand off and stepped up, man. That's all I need for you to do. The Alliance is on the rise, baby. We're going up 2 or 3 inches at a time, baby. Proud of y'all. Love you. We're going to Alaska. We're going to Alaska. Thank y'all.